Good morning, Upper Sixth. I really hope that we are going to get a question on celebrity endorsements in this year's Paper 3 research theme, the clothing industry. I think you can have a lot of fun with it. I also think that this is a potential risk that you just go on about how much you understand the social media influencer. For instance, Nicki Minaj has been in the press yesterday to do with this trainer brand. We're going to pronounce this LØCI, and if it's wrong, I apologise. I'm about to say it about 50 times. So we need to think about the theory behind celebrity endorsements before we go on to a 12 marker that I've done for you with a bit of a walkthrough of how to approach it as well. But first of all, we need to think about some of the basic marketing principles that we understand from the class. So we understand that it's really expensive to get new customers. It's really, really expensive. You've got to spend lots of money. You've got to persuade them not to buy Adidas or Nike or whoever else they're normally buying. And then once you've got them and you've created that interest and the desire to buy, and then they've bought them, this is very expensive still to get them to hear. You've convert that interest into the desirable actions, and they've literally bought the trainers. Now, it's really expensive to get new customers. It's less expensive to keep loyal customers loyal. And remember, loyal customers buy more stuff from you more frequently, hopefully telling all their friends so they all go out and buy your LØCI trainers as well. Now, at the moment, this company, and we'll do the case study in a bit, is managed to do a collab with Nicki Minaj on designing these new vegan trainers. It's helped them have huge amounts of publicity. Their sales have gone crazy. Their growth projections are just amazing. How sustainable is that? Is this brand about Nicki Minaj and the other celebs that are supporting the brand, or is it about the vegan trainer? Is it a bit of both? I don't know, but this type of question that we'll be going on to, you would need to explore that sort of thing, especially with the MOPs in the 12 marker, because you need to consider the future. So moving on, so if we think about the different types of theories, now we're thinking about credibility theory here. We don't cover all of these as theories in the classroom, and obviously we've just looked at a AIDA model. Now, if we think about the source of credibility, well, we can see in context with the case study that will come up. This will make the case study easier to navigate. We can see that LØCI, they want the ethical trainers, vegan trainers, very, very trendy at the moment, moving away from animal-based products. And it's a crowded market. It's sports, it's fashion, and there's lots of established players out there that spend a lot of money on advertising, reminding me to be loyal to Adidas, Nike, and all of those sorts of brands. Now, Nicki Minaj comes along. She was already here, obviously, and endorses the LØCI trainers, and all of a sudden, demand goes crazy. We need to think about possible counter-arguments for all of this, and here I've put in the over-reliance on the celebrity, and sometimes when the celebrity is influencing the brand more than vegan trainers, we can have problems. So for instance, when Tiger Woods was going through a period in his life and there was lots of scandals going on with him, Nike saw their stock price go down. Now, for a company that is all about just do it, I suppose that fits into what Tiger Woods was up to at the time. But if you think about it, that one celebrity can actually damage your brand if suddenly there's a mismatch. So we're thinking about the meaning behind the celebrity, for example. So it could be that this is, the vibrant personality, the sense of fashion. So it could be that actually there's a really good synergy between the celebrity and LØCI's trainers. So it's not just about raising awareness, there could be that real synergy between them. However, sometimes they gets it wrong. I'm going to pronounce that weekend. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it, but never mind. I am only a Dalmatian. So H&M, clearly, there was a little bit of a photo shoot problems, very controversial, and there was a big mismatch between the celebs and the brand itself. And when you get that, you can upset customers. And remember, it's really expensive to get new customers. It's less expensive to keep them loyal, and loyal customers buy more stuff from you more frequently. Some research out there says that loyal customers are 90% more profitable. However, you wind up those customers. A brand like H&M is very much mass market, very little differentiation in the marketplace, maybe because of controversial product photo. Maybe I never go back. And then it's really expensive to get me back. And you have to come up with a whole new campaign to try and overcome the controversy of this. So if we're thinking about social influence, well, you'll be well aware of this. I'm sure you follow people on social media. And, you know, with the millions upon millions of people that follow Nicki Minaj, you can understand why people might be influenced by her wearing trainers. If you look at this, there's a photo in one of the slides of her wearing a pair of Crocs. They were pink Crocs. She was sat on a table, and suddenly the sales of Crocs went through the roof just because she was wearing a pair of plastic flip-flops. Okay, suddenly they became very fashionable and loads of Crocs sales were out there. The social influence that people like Nicki Minaj have is immense and can't be underestimated. However, customers are now becoming a bit more savvy. They're very aware that we have celebrities that are paid to do things, to say things, to wear things, and some consumers are getting a bit tired of it. And the example here with Pepsi and Kendall Jenner, they pulled it after loads of people criticised how inauthentic that was, and it just looked totally staged, and it probably looked relatively bad on Jenner as much as it did on Pepsi. Okay, so you've got to try and build that authentic relationship, which hopefully LØCI have with Nicki Minaj and the other celebs that are supporting it. We've briefly gone through this model, and here it is a bit more in context. And we need to think about, it's really expensive to get new customers. It's less expensive to keep loyal customers loyal, and loyal customers buy more stuff from you more frequently. And if you think about here, the immediate hype, well, how are LØCI going to sustain this? Okay, is it just going to be, whoa, it's all about Nicki Minaj, and then when Nicki Minaj steps back eventually, who the hell are this training company? How are they going to continue this? Or is this just going to be another brand with a relatively short product life cycle? And we know the introduction and growth stage is being supported by social media personalities. And will we suddenly see it go to maturity and decline, and then a big company buys up the brand and it's just part of a brand portfolio? We shall see. Hopefully it works out for them. So here is the case study. There's a full article on this in the Times. Obviously, I've cut this back so we can actually do something with it on one slide. So we've got lots of information in here. We've got eco-conscious, 230 million, 3,500% traffic surge. You've got lots of things in here. There's lots of numbers. There's not a huge amount of maths that you can do with this, but there's no excuse for not contextualizing this. I will quickly go through the quick plan, and then I advise you to pause the video and do this 12 marker in 15 minutes. Okay, so assess the likely impact is clearly going to be the start of the hook. So we will put our H up there for our hook of high profile celebrity endorsements on achieving the firm's significant increase in market share. So it's of this on achieving its market share. Okay, and we've got obviously the sportswear industry. Now, what we're looking for here is we're looking for evidence to do with market share. So I'm going to need to see this. This is obviously my definition. I'm going to need to define this in context and possibly link it into other theories like we've mentioned in the previous slides. But I want to know what this significantly means. And if you look down here, this is what they anticipate. Okay, we have got 420% sales growth this year and nearing 100,000 trainers. Okay, so we can see that this is sales forecasting, anticipates. So clearly they want to increase their market share, and this is going to be through growth in sales, and that could be percentage of trainers or percentage of revenue, probably a bit of both, depends on what they do with the pricing. If there's still such a huge demand, I can't see them discounting any trainers. They might bring out an even more premium line. We shall see. Okay, what you should do is you should now pause the video 15 minutes and write your essay using the technique that we've practiced in class. Did you pause? No. So we're going to start with a definition or demonstrating an understanding. Okay, it's best that you contextualize everything that you write. So don't try and write a textbook definition of celebrity endorsement. Just describe it. Okay, so Nicki Minaj's partnership with LØCI to design and promote vegan trainers is a celebrity endorsement that aims to increase the brand's market share in the sportswear industry. A bit of a repeat of the question in some ways. We've got vegan trainers up here, which isn't in the question, so that's a bit of context. And we've got design and promote. Okay, so that was actually contextualizing how this celebrity endorsement is working, and we know that celebrity endorsement is one of the marketing mix P's with promotion. Okay, so a high-profile celebrity endorsement can significantly enhance brand visibility and consumer interest. This is because, I've underlined and emboldened connectives, by the way, I won't keep repeating that. Nicki Minaj has a vast social media following of, use the case study, 230 million people. Her endorsement leads to increased attention towards low-size trainers, therefore resulting in temporary crash of the company's website due to a 3,500% surge in traffic. This visibility is crucial for LØCI to stand out in the competitive sportswear market. The hook is market share within the sportswear industry, and at the end of the chain of argument, we've directly linked back to it. At the moment, we've got 4 chains of argument. Ideally, we want 5, but remember, we've got to have that however, because the mark scheme stipulates wide-ranging arguments. Wide-ranging arguments is more than 2. And therefore we're going to present 2 P paragraphs with a however in context at the end of this, and then our AJ, answer the question, justify, and a single mop statement. Here's the however. Remember, the however needs to be the counter argument in some ways to this and in context. Don't write abstract waffle. However, the effect might be short-lived if not supported by sustained marketing efforts, e.g. opening up in more major cities. Okay, now if I would have just said the textbook, however, this might be short-lived if you don't do a load of marketing around it, not sure if that's going to get me to top level 4. Adding major cities is part of their marketing efforts because it's part of the marketing mix, it's place, it's distribution. So we're looking for evidence to do with marketing, and because we've memorized our 7 Ps, then we can soon link into those as we're identifying evidence from the case study. Celebrity endorsements can directly increase sales and market share. Obviously, that's my point. This is because the endorsements create a perception of desirability and quality, leading to increased customer trust in the brand. This is the theory we talked about in a previous slide. Therefore, LØCI anticipates a 420% sale growth this year. LØCI's anticipation of nearly 100,000 trainers sold showcases the expected impact on sales and market share. So the first part of this is very theory, desirability, quality, just regurgitating some of the theories we've learned in class, and then we've contextualized it. And because we can, and there's loads of evidence here, we've done the anticipated growth in percentage and we've quoted the growth in trainer sales. And at the end of the chain of argument, we've linked it back to the hook, which is market share. However, relying heavily on celebrity endorsements might risk overshadowing the brand's own identity and sustainability ethos of vegan trainers. Again, theory base would have taken me to there. Then we've contextualized it back to vegan trainers. Quite easy. Contextualize everything. I know Drucker said cash is king, but in A-level essays, context is king. Overall, the likely impact of a high-profile celebrity endorsement on achieving the firm's aims is positive. Looking back at the question, normally before we would have written that, we would have gone back, reminded ourselves quickly, impact of this on that. Impact of that on this is positive. It's not the most exciting conclusion, but it does answer the question. The rest of the marks are really in our justification. Okay, so far I'm hoping this is level 4. We've ticked the boxes. We'll have a look at the mark scheme in a second. But the justification is so important. And this is where lots of students lose marks because they either just repeat their argument or it's abstract, so it doesn't count. Lovely word for our justification. We're considering the alternative. Without using celebrity endorsements, LØCI might struggle to achieve the same level of market penetration and brand visibility in the competitive sportswear industry. Okay, I wonder where I got that from. The instant credibility and massive audience reach provided by Nicki Minaj are difficult to replicate through traditional marketing strategies alone. There's the justification. It's positive. Without it, no offence, who the hell are LØCI? Okay? But then again, I'm probably not the target audience for this. Then we're thinking about one MOPS, future orientated. In previous videos, I've given you examples, a lot of the market and economic situation. But let's have a look at the product. While celebrity endorsements, remember what the question is, can initially draw attention to LØCI's sustainable products, the long-term success and market position of the brand will likely depend on continuous product innovation and the ability to meet evolving customer expectations. Okay, now we've got initial draw attention to LØCI's sustainable products is the context, and then the rest of it is imagining what it would be without so much celebrity endorsement. If it's just about the hype, then that's a very expensive marketing strategy, which they might need to do. Is vegan trainers a differentiation point? Well, probably not, to be totally honest with you, because there's lots of people that are doing them now. It's not a new thing anymore. So maybe they need a bit of both. Who knows? But the question is it perfect? Probably not, but is it level 4? So if we're looking over here, here's our level 4 criterias, 9 to 12 marks. This is where we want to be on all of our essays, except for the 8 markers, of course, because there's only 3 levels. Accurate and thorough knowledge and understanding supported throughout. What a lovely word. Sorry to keep repeating with this. Throughout means throughout. Is it about the company throughout? Are there abstract paragraphs? Are your counter arguments abstract? Is your MOPS abstract? Yeah? Have you simply just reworded something that you've written before for your justification but forgot to contextualize it? Throughout, tick. Coherent and logical chains of reasoning showing causes and effect. We are looking for 5 chains of argument ish, but it's more important that you are doing stuff with it. You know, we've got use of theory, we've got multiple uses of case studies. If you see it twice, then actually, if you look here, you know, there's probably about 6 chains of argument in here because I've used 2 bits of evidence, but it's been interpreted. Yeah, so it's quite important that we think about that we could use 2 pieces of evidence if you've got time. If you can't write this in 15 minutes and plan it, then you need to use a 10-mark technique, don't you? But this one has definitely got those chains of argument, and the however helps it achieve 5. Okay? Is it balanced? Just a bit. Wide-ranging. And remember, wide-ranging is more than 2 arguments. Okay? It's not written in any of the spec, but we're looking for more than 2. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really. Okay, that's more than 2. Last time I learnt how to do basic maths. So you've got to make sure that we are doing these wide-ranging arguments. This is really the main difference between a 10 and a 12 marker. And yes, the mark schemes say they're looking for MOPs, but if you've got a future-orientated conclusion that's well justified, you might still pick up all the marks. Okay, but the mark schemes say MOPs, and that's what we plan for if we're writing this in 15 minutes. Obviously, if you can't think of a contextualized MOPs, don't write one. Shows an awareness of competing arguments. What a lovely word to make it blindingly obvious. The competing argument is not using celebrity endorsements, leading to a supported judgment. I think so. I think this would get between 10 and 12 marks, depending on the mood of the examiner. I'm hoping it would be towards the top end of that. I might be wrong. If I am, if you disagree, please email me if you're one of my students, and if you're not one of my students, email your own teacher. Anyway, have a lovely day. Hopefully that was useful. Woof.